Hey, how you doing? This is Chris from D6 Machina, and I'm with...
Dave from Rampant Wolf Games.
He's Dave from Rebel with Games. And we are talking about games with amazing artwork. Now, this is a very complicated list. This is games that are pretty. Anyway, number 5. It's true. That's what it is. It's pretty games. That's what it is. It would be nice if games with amazing artwork that suck. That would be challenging.
Yeah, it would be. All right.
Number 5. Smash, smash, smash.
All right.
You're going to love this one. My number 5 is Grimm Forest. Can't deny it's a pretty game.
Yes, I can.
It's a pretty game. In fact, we've talked about the fact it's overproduced. It's overproduced because it's pretty. It's got 6 or 7 it's got 4 cool miniatures and 5 or 6 more that are completely worthless. But they're pretty. Damn, they're pretty. You have cards with a lot of artwork. That's pretty too. The box is pretty. The inserts are pretty. Everything is pretty. It's Grimm Forest, number 5. There's nothing else to say. It's Grimm Forest. It is a beautiful game. And the people who designed it, which has a very funny name, they don't have it's all like John Franklin. It's a one word that represents 2 people. And they also do that new one, that Title Blades, which you didn't back, which I did. That game looks pretty too. If that game was in my hand, it probably would replace this one because I actually think they're very. If they had made more, I think this would represent them and they would be higher on the list. I kind of based mine off of individual achievement or on the aggregate. So that's my number 5 pick, Grimm Forest.
All right. My number 5 is Yashima. It is...
Yashima. Sounds like what you screamed at dogs to move the flight.
It's made by the same people, if I'm not mistaken, who do Cross Master Battle Arena.
You just made up those words. Those don't go together.
Yeah, I think so. I might have the back.
Cram, Unjust, Math, Piston, Arena.
Yeah, Cross Master Battle Arena.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Japanese, obviously
It's not
inspired.
obvious.
And the camera.
Like, oh, I can see the image here. Oh, that's very clearly Japanese inspired. Look at that.
It has Bruce Lee on it.
Well, yes, it does.
No, it's very very beautiful artwork.
It's very beautiful.
I only wish I understood how to play the game.
Very beautiful. Really?
Yeah, I still haven't learned how to play the game yet.
Is it a bad manual, or is this one of those things where it's like, what?
What?
Or is it English?
No, it's I don't understand the concepts they're trying to teach me.
Okay. Because I've had games that are just like, I'm sure the manual is really good in its native tongue.
Yeah. Well, like you have this book of cards, which is actually just a stack of cards, and as you flip the cards over, it's like flipping a book, and it has your spells and mana. And
Isn't that kind of like Book of Madness? Book of Madness, the cards are pages of a book.
Yeah, but no, this is literally like Book of Madness is they're torn out. This one's actually is your book, and you can flip back and forth between them. Yeah. So that's my number 5, Yashima.
My number 4. I've mentioned this in a previous list a very, very long time ago. It's a game called Grimm Slingers. And Grimm Slingers is not a great game. Boy, is it pretty. The guy who did the artwork was also the guy who made the system. I think you should stick with artwork. Because the company who made that game also put out Folklore, which is a much better game. And I remember saying, oh boy, I would kill to have Folklore's game engine with Grimm Slingers art and setting. Yeah. Because Grimm Slingers is beautiful. It's a weird West, not really steampunk, it's a weird West paranormal story. And if you would just show the artwork, no wonder it succeeded on Kickstarter twice, both for the first book and the second, despite the fact it's not a good game. People look at it and like, I can't be angry at you, you're too beautiful. Thankfully, the game isn't like, these lists are not games that are bad. I think Grimm Slingers is an okay game. Because I have to like the game, but having a game with amazing artwork, I just have to like them slightly. And that's why you won't see any certifiable games in this list. Because their games are pretty, but they're bad.
My number 4 is Dragonfire by Cataclysm Labs or Games. I think it's Games. It's games, yeah, I think it's Games.
Well, eventually they are games. Could be Cataclysm Labs games.
Yeah, I can't remember. But basically it's D&D. They turned it into a deck builder dungeon crawler. It's beautiful artwork, beautiful game. Love it. They even have it.
More so than Thunder Quest.
Yes.
Okay. Didn't realize
the components are better.
I didn't realize I was instilling that much. You know.
The components are better because one thing, the card quality, you don't need to sleeve these guys because they're semi-plasticized. And you're trying to see if the video's still going, and it is.
Yeah.
So that's my number 4, Dragonfire.
Wait a second, isn't that the D&D one?
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, I always expect your games to be obscure. So when you said Dragonfire, it's like, oh, that's some kind of obscure game that has a similar title. No, that actually quite literally is a D&D title.
Yeah.
My number 3 is it's not a bad game. I think the game is probably a 6.5 or a 7. Mm-hmm. But the artwork deserves a 10. Like, the artwork deserves a better game because the artwork is amazing. That's Ashes, Rise of the Phoenix Born.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my fiance thinks the game is okay, but she keeps on making me buy the expansions.
I stopped, finally.
Because she loves the artwork so much. Like, we bought it purely on the artwork. Like, once I showed her the rules. I showed her playthrough, and she's like, oh, really? I still want it. Like, she knew she wasn't going to enjoy the game. But we still played it, and we still own it, and we still have the expansions because the game is bloody brilliant. I mean, I'll tell you, card-based games generally will have the most amazing artwork, which is ironic because that is the last card game on my list. But yeah, Ashes. Beautiful. Even the box is beautiful. Mm-hmm. You grab, like, the first time we were collecting board games,
Rainbow
that
Phoenix
beautiful white box. Like, you grab that box, you want to know what that game is. You flip it over and go, wow.
That's exactly what happened with us too when we bought it for the exact same reason.
Oh, really? So there you go. So I'm not preaching to the choir.
No.
So that's my number 3 pick. Ashes, Rise of the Phoenix Born.
All right, my number 3 is a very recent game for me, and I was gonna say I might been bumped
Tell your
out
story
by another game, but it is called Brick City.
Oh,
and
that's really new.
It is, and for me, the artwork perfectly captures the 80s, 90s cop shows and cop dramas so well that when I'm playing it, I'm just like, yeah, I am Axel Foley or whoever, or
Mel Gibson, Donnie Yen.
Yep.
And then your villain is Guy Fieri. I cannot believe.
Yeah, Guy Fieri.
Oh my God. He's even doing this.
You can't deny that the artwork is awesome.
It's a pretty game.
It is. It's very
especially with your Kickstarter with the mat and everything.
Yeah.
The artwork on the it's definitely not bad.
Yeah. So that's my number 3, Brook City.
My number 2 is the antithesis of what I was just saying regarding Grimm Forest. Grim Slingers, because in this one, the game is good, and the game was when an artist designs the game, he's doing a lot of art, which is the reason why Grim Slingers looks so damn good. When you're hiring an artist, sometimes you have to cut corners, and sometimes you replicate art.
I know what you're gonna say.
But when this guy designs his game,
it's a Red Raven game.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but it's a game that definitely deserves, I think, on this list. I don't know if he's done any other games, but he's done 3 games in this series, and that's Legends of Andor.
Yeah.
Because Legend of Andor is designed by the artist, and that game is exquisite with art.
It is.
There is amazing amounts of art from that beautiful map to the monsters, to the additional detail that the front of a standee is the front of a character, and the back of the standee is the back of the character. It's not a mirrored image.
No.
And you don't see a lot of that.
No, you
where
really
he drew
don't.
the back of the character, mirrored him, so it was quite literally the proper back rather than just a mirror of the front. Yeah, no, I was quite impressed with the art style, and then with the dragon, and then you flip the board over. There's a whole other map there, and then he followed it up with episode 2 and episode 3, and aged the characters on their boards. Come on, that's nuts. He actually made them older, so it's actually a trilogy. Yeah, it's just the game is friggin' hard. I love the fact that it's a storytelling game, not an adventuring game.
Yep.
So it's not about doing the mission and completing the objectives. It's about telling the story before everyone in the tavern gets bored and walks away. But you don't know that until you realize, oh, we have to tell the story before the narrator runs out, because we're quite literally, it's about the attention span of a small salad bar. You're both telling a very quick story, which means we don't know what really happened in this fantasy tale because the narrator is quite literally making shit up.
Yep.
So that is number 2, Legends of Andor. Picking 1, 2, and 3. This is the amalgamation of all 3.
Yep. trying to remember where mine is. It's around here somewhere.
And you have 2 and 3 or just 2?
I have all of it.
Yeah, I 2 and 3 are on wish list. I'm refusing to buy them. I should, because that'll at least encourage us to finish it. Because we're about 2 episodes away from finishing number 1. And I feel maybe if we buy 2 and 3, it'll finally encourage her to finish 1, because we haven't finished it.
Oh, it's all right down there.
Yeah. So anyway, what's your number? No, your number 2.
Number 2 is Shadows of Brimstone by Flying Frog Productions. There's
just from quantity.
Oh, there's just so much.
It's just so much.
There
Like
is
Brook
so
City
much
gets that as well because you have a lot of Brook City, but you have a lot.
There's a lot of artwork for this game, and everything is
it's a lot of game.
It is a lot of game, and the thing that I find is that the artwork, while being derivative, as in it's not original.
It's not real. Yeah, exactly.
It still is good. It's not like screen grabs or anything else. I mean, they took their art, the premise, and they made it their own. Whether it's mutated cowboys or dead walking Civil War soldiers. Not Civil War, the other ones. We're talking colonial. That's what I meant.
Independence.
It's pretty awesome. To Hellfire Suck You By.
Yeah.
You know.
He's quite literally reading off the list behind the camera.
It is. You know, with a werewolf, feral... Anyways, no. So that's my number 2.
Yes, Hellfire Suck You By, Frontier Town, Blasted Waits, Feral Vampires, Name a Pick, Temple of the Shadows, Forest of the Dead.
Crimson Hand.
It's almost like we know, or... Then we start running off the ones over there. It's like, yes, we know, you have a life.
Yes, number 2, Shadows of Brimstone. All right, number 1.
The win streak.
That's good. I'm curious to see what your number 1 is.
Mine's a cheat because there's like 5 for the tie. That's all Red Raven games. Well, you don't like Red Raven.
I don't find the artwork to be that great. It's kind of just
there's
bland.
There's one criticism I'll have, and there's also a bit of praise. One is that I find his art style to be really solid, and he has as an artist, he almost reminds me of Neil Gaiman, not to that extent, but to the point that Gaiman. One thing we'll say about Neil Gaiman is that he creates originality. Like when he creates mythology, he'll create a mythology whole cloth. He'll make it original, like Stardust. It's like completely new mythology, unlike Lord of the Rings, which was very much pulling off of Christian mythos and a whole bunch of other ones. But he creates very original fantasy worlds. From Haven to Above and Below, you look at them and go, what race is that supposed to be? And you're like, that's something completely fabricated he made up. There's no elf, there's no dwarf, there's no orc. This is something wholly unique. I will definitely give him credit for that originality. The soft pastel-like colors is very soothing. It's not a jagged or an anime. It's not one style. It's just his style, and I really appreciate it. The knock against him is that they all look the same.
Yes.
Because Above and Below, Near and Far, Haven, they're like, are these all set in the same universe? Because it seems like, which of course, with case of Above and Below and Near and Far, you quite literally can swap the tokens around. Because one's a follow-up for the other.
Don't forget Islebound.
And Islebound and all the other ones. So yeah, from his artistic style, he's kind of like the James Horner. The music's fantastic, but when you hire him, he's dead now, but when you hired him, you got the James Horner soundtrack.
Yeah.
You listen to 12 James Horner soundtracks, especially in his early days, you're like, oh, nope, that's something else. Oh, nope. Like when you listen to Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and then you listen to Krull or Battle Beyond the Stars. You're like, these are the same soundtrack. There's some slight variations. And you're like, this is ripping off Jerry Goldsmith. This is ripping off more Jerry Goldsmith. And this one, it's Jerry Goldsmith again. But his music is good. But when you hire him, you're getting the Pacific. And then many years later, like all the way back to Troy and then Avatar, which is one of the last ones he did before he passed away. He died. But it's like, oh, still playing with that musical track. Like I can, like you listen to, even you go all the way back to Avatar. Sounds exactly the same as some of his early work. And that's this guy. But the point is, the music is good. The music is very good, and he does it so consistently. He has put up more titles than anyone else I've mentioned on this list. So yeah, that's it. It's pretty easy. All Red Raven games. They're rock. They're all pretty good looking.
All right, my number one, should be no surprise to Chris, is Madara. The game is so beautifully done. It's sad that it took this long to come to market, but now that they're re-releasing it and completing the trilogy, I am ecstatic. There is so much beauty in this game. I know certain people in our industry think it's gross, but it's not.
Well, that comes to a matter of, I don't know.
It's the genre of it. It's a JRPG. That's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So it's, you know, I agree that, you know, people couldn't actually, you know, defend themselves wearing that little clothing? Probably. But again.
Are we talking about Tifa's boob size now?
Exactly. So that's my number one, Madara. It is a beautiful game. Look it up. Check out the picture or video that's running right here. It's amazing. You will like it.
Holy crap, there is a video there.
Now you're in the video. Now you're headless. Oh, now you're back.
Weird.
So,
And by the way, I really don't care about Tifa's breast size. I think there's a lot of stupid, toxic masculinity around that, but whatever. Anyway, number 5 for games with amazing artwork, Grimm Forest. Number 4, Grimm Forest, Grimm Slingers. Number 3, Ashes, Rise of the Famous Born. Number 2, Legends of Andor. And 1, all Red Raven games.
So my number 5, Yashima. Number 4, Dragonfire. Number 3, Brook City. Amazing game. Number 2, Shadows of Brimstone. So much. And number 1, Madara, is a beautiful game. So once again, I've been Dave.
And I have been Chris. And remember, the rules are just a suggestion. Play the game the way you want to play it. See, I can do it.
You can.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I had to think about that for a second.
I did.
I think I must,